Come on! Yeah! Here we go! Yeah! 1, 2, 3, 4! Come on! Let's go!
Good afternoon, LinkedIn. Thanks for tuning in. We got a great one today. We got a live job description that we're going to be talking to Joseph shortly about his role with 1-800-Wheelchair. But before I bring him out, I kind of wanted to just spend a few minutes talking about this. What is this? What is a live job description? Why do we do it? And how can you participate? So a live job description is really casual conversation that Joseph and I are going to have about this role that he's hiring for, rather than listing a job description, posting it up, and having you interpret what you think Joseph wants and what you think skills and experiences and roles and responsibilities are going to look like. You're going to get to hear that from him live today. So it's a very engaging process that we do to market roles and our clients. And why we do it is, I've been in the recruitment business for, I'm not going to tell you how long because that'll tell you how old I am, but a big part of my job was doing this, was having conversations with hiring managers to really make sense of the job description, to pull out the valuable pieces, to remove the fluff. And then I realized, why do I get to have all the fun? Why not let everybody participate in this and be witness to these conversations to really see if this is a role for you, and more importantly, if Joseph's somebody you want to work with. Because what we found is, if people don't leave companies, but they run from bad bosses, the inverse is also true. And people don't necessarily join companies or roles as much as they follow leaders. And we have a great one here today. He's back for his second live. He had so much fun that he wants to do it again. I'm going to bring him out in a second, but a little bit of background on Joseph as I've got to know him. I hope that you have a cup of coffee, maybe with a couple shots of espresso, because to try to match Joseph's energy, it's impossible. You can't do it. You're going to learn a lot about him. You're going to learn his purpose-driven nature of his businesses, the passion he has for his businesses and his people. And that's really what I admire about him as a leader, an entrepreneur. And, you know, maybe when this is all over, I'll be able to call him a friend at some point, but he still owes me, you know, a drink and some dinner at some point. So without further ado, I want to bring in Joseph Piekarski. Joseph.
My friend, Mike, how are you?
I'm already there. We haven't even started and I already got friend status. That's amazing. Whoa. I appreciate that.
Well, when I was in the green room, I heard I kind of had my ear on what was going on. So,
I got to learn to cut the sound off so you don't get to hear how I introduced you. It'd be so much better. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be talking in a little bit about this digital marketing product manager role for 1-800-Wheelchair. But before I do that, I want to give people an opportunity to learn a little bit about you and your background, you know, in terms of your businesses, because I understand, you know, there are two, so there's a bit of complexity around that. So if you can give us an overview of you, your background, your businesses. And I know last time I asked you about a personal question around your first concert. This time, because I know you love to travel, I want you to share the favorite destination place you've been and what's next on your list in terms of where you want to go next. So turn over to you.
Okay, so my name is Joseph Piekarski, and I started 1-800-Wheelchair.com, I'd say 25 years ago. In my early 20s, I wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I chose wheelchairs to be the place where I was going to like plant my stick. And I bought the URL wheelchair.com and the phone number 1-800-Wheelchair. And essentially I built the first online medical supply store. So think of Amazon, what Amazon is today, but this is all geared around medical supply movement for people who are disabled. And so the idea is, so 1-800wheelchair.com is a website that has thousands of products, anything from children to adults to athletes, institutions, and especially where our specialty is our older people. So anything they need to move, essentially we sell on 1-800-Wheelchair. So it operates like a classical e-commerce website. You can go there, look for a wheelchair, for a cane, for a walker. We have a phone number attached to it, so you can make a phone call. We have a call center. We have people who specialize in these products. And for many years, it's very, very exciting for us to build the first online medical supply company. So even though we're dealing with ideas of wheelchairs, but the machine that powers the wheelchair is the same machine that sells Rolex watches or any kind of e-commerce website. It's very exciting. After a couple of years, around 5 years ago, actually, so after like 20 years of selling wheelchairs and medical supplies, so we decided to build our own brand of wheelchairs. I felt that I could build a better brand. I felt wheelchairs are ugly and they're heavy. And we realized that most of our customers are older people, kind of what we call aging in place. These are older people who are living at home and they are getting older and they're having a hard time moving around. So we built a brand called Feather Chair, and Feather Chair essentially makes the world's lightest wheelchairs. And so a wheelchair traditionally weighs 30 to 40 pounds. We made a wheelchair that weighs 13 pounds. So so think of us as like a big box retailer, and the big box retailer within this 1-800-Wheelchair, we have our own brand called Feather Chair. And so that sells on 1-800-Wheelchair. And it's our biggest success in the last couple of years. But so just to get understanding of our business, we have sort of the big website, which is 1-800-Wheelchair. 1-800-Wheelchair has been in business for 25 years, and it was always built as an online business. It was always built as an online business. So we have e-commerce in our DNA. It gets thousands of views a day, or customers a day come on to 1-800-Wheelchair. And also through 1-800-Wheelchair, we also have, we sell our own brand called Feather Chair, which is just a brand of 5 or 6 products, which are each the lightest the lightest in their category and also in the world. And so so just to kind of move, Mike, can I move towards the job description? Are we moving to that yet?
No,
Yeah?
we're not there yet.
Sorry.
You gotta talk about the vacation before we jump into the thing. I'm trying to keep you on task
Okay.
here.
I
And you're
thought that
jumping
was
all over the place.
I thought there was a teaser for the end.
No, let's hit it
right
with it
now.
now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky that somehow I get to travel a lot. So in the last 6 weeks, I've traveled to anywhere from I was in Dubai for work. We're expanding our business to the Middle East. There was a show there. I was in Australia, Melbourne, Australia, for a friend's wedding. I was in Los Angeles, California, for a friend of mine has a play, and it was opening night, and I was there in the theater at the Geffen Theater. My brother turned 40 in Florida, and this past week I was in Paris for the weekend because a friend of mine turned 50, and I wanted to surprise him for his 50th birthday. But my favorite place to go is I've learned a passion to swim. For those of you who don't know, Mike is a big gym person, but I don't want to talk about Mike at the moment. But he's a huge. If everybody's ever in Toronto and need to go to the gym, you should speak. You should private message Mike. But I'm a swimmer, and I have a good friend of mine, and he has a house in Ibiza in Spain. And every summer I go there, and I try to go for like 2 weeks, and I do beautiful swims in the Mediterranean Ocean in the north of Ibiza. And every day at like 4 o'clock till sunset, 4 to 7, 4 to 8, we do really long swims. And I look forward to these swims. So even when I'm swimming in New York in a gym at a pool, every time I lift my head out of the water, I'm thinking about those mountains and cliffs in Ibiza where I'm swimming. So that's my favorite place is swimming in the Mediterranean. A little bit exotic, but you asked.
And what's next on your list? Where's a place that you haven't been yet that you want to go?
I have a bunch of places. I'm thinking of doing something. Well, I'll say this. Here's the way I do it. I had this deal with my children that every time at the end of the year, I say choose anywhere in the world. We take 2 weeks, and we get to travel for 2 weeks anywhere in the world. And the trip is usually comprised of two sections. One section would be something more like activity based. So we would do, let's say, a motorcycle trip somewhere or a hike trip. And the second half would be kind of more relaxing. So we're looking at India, and we're looking at Turkey. And so we're looking at a couple, maybe something in Africa. So we're looking at a couple of places. So I don't know yet. We're kind of like doing the research. And hopefully at the next interview, I'll have a specific answer for you where we get.
Okay, you're on.
Yes.
So as we transition now, thanks for the overview of the background, the history, and kind of where we're at. Can you talk about what this role is, where it fits in the organization, and what they're going to be responsible for?
Okay, great. So essentially, the title of this particular job, I'm calling it the website product manager. So this person would oversee the entire website. So the way I like to look at it is basically you're managing many third-party agencies that we work with, but it compromises everything that has to do with the website. So let me kind of be a bit more specific. I like to separate it into like 3 buckets. So I like to call it top of the funnel. Funnel, we mean like a sales funnel. Top of the funnel, inside the funnel, and then the bottom of the funnel. So on top of the funnel, we're of course managing. We are obsessed with search engine optimization, SEO. For those of you who are familiar with that. So we want to rank for certain keywords, of course, around wheelchair, mobility, scooters, hospital beds, and stuff like that. So we work with a third-party agency, and so they specialize in our SEO endeavors. We also have an AdWords. We spend a lot of money on Google AdWords, Google Shopping. We do Bing. Also, we do some social media, Facebook, Instagram. And so we have third-party companies that we work with. And so that person's job is to oversee those particular companies that we work with. And we usually work with this particular kind of formula. We work with a formula. We have a certain mandate with them. So it's a formula. We have a certain ROI that we want. So if we spend $1, we want to make $10 back in return, or whatever it is, the ROI is, or whatever the cost per acquisition is. And so essentially we have an unlimited budget in terms of how much we spend on marketing, as long as we meet a certain ROI. And so this person's job, one of this person's tasks is to oversee the AdWords people, the Google Shopping people, the SEO, and the digital marketing to make sure that they're meeting their benchmarks, to check in with them once every 2 weeks, or once a month, and also report back to me. So that's sort of one bucket. So I call it outside the funnel. What's considered success? Success is that we want to have, obviously, more traffic to the website. We have around 10,000 people a day come to the site. I'm looking to get 20,000, 30,000 more people to the site every day. Of course, there's different kinds of traffic. You want to have good traffic that converts. The second part of the job is inside the funnel. So inside the funnel, I mean the actual website, right? The actual website, when you go on 1-800-wheelchair.com, the actual website. So that person is responsible for all the content on the website. So for example, if there's a new product that we're adding to the website, new images, anything on the website, that person is responsible for. They may have to write the descriptions. They have to have some writing skills. Sometimes we'll onboard a new supplier. So we want to represent another company. How do we get them into the system? What are the needs that we need to have? Images from them, content from them, pricing from them. We also work with Google Search Console. So if there's any errors on the site that Google recognizes, you have to be responsible for that. And so also how product placement, where the products are, what's number 1, what's number 2. So anything in terms of the visual of the website, they are responsible for that as well. And success for inside the funnel is, of course, that we have a certain conversion rate that we benchmark, and we hope that at the end of the year or in a couple of months, the person could increase the conversion rate to a higher conversion rate, and that's considered success. Another part of inside the funnel is we also have an outsourced. We have a tech and programming team. So if there's any additions we have to have on the site, or add new pages, or add new functions, and anything, it may be like a new search, a new chat, or any kind of new third-party application that we want to have for the site that will help the site. So this person has to work together with the technology team and make sure it gets implemented. Also, we're constantly redesigning the website. And so we have a design firm that we work with, and they have to manage that design firm. So if we're doing a rebranding or new colors or new pages on a front-end design, this person has to interact with the design team as well. So essentially, this person is constantly interacting with different third parties. I'd say between 10 and 20 different third-party vendors that we work with. They're constantly working with them, making sure they're on schedule, making sure they're on time, and their deliverables are on time. So it's essentially, you're kind of like a traffic cop. You're trying to like manage all the incoming and outgoings. We also have another small little Shopify website. So the Feather Chair brand that we talked about, primarily, most of it is sold on the 1-800-Wheelchair website. That's where all the traffic is. But the Feather Chair also has its own small website called featherchair.com. And it's just there as a branding website. And so that person also has to manage the Shopify website. And the third part of the job is managing what we call the bottom of the funnel. Or so it's like it could be the emails that we send out to customers, or cart abandonment emails, the affiliate relationships we have with other companies, so affiliate marketing. And so that's a third part. And most of that is sort of automated at this point in time, but somebody has to oversee it and make sure that the emails go out and the cart abandonment emails go out, excuse me, etc. 1 second. Okay, that's better. So that's the third part of that. Of course, success with this is also, as well as we want to increase our revenue from emails and affiliates and so on. And then just to add, so just to kind of summarize what this person is, what the job is, that this summarizes that this person is overseeing many different projects and making sure that so the skills they need to have are, they need to be extremely organized, understand how analytics works, maybe be familiar with Google Analytics, and doing some of their own data analytics, or using our own software that we have for analytics. And hopefully they have some kind of design and coding chops. And if somebody also worked on an e-commerce site and did similar ideas at another company, this is obviously a plus. Somebody who has experience in managing another website, that is a plus. But the key is really strong organization skills, project manager skills, and organization and like timeline skills. So that's generally the overall job responsibilities.
That was great. That was a solid overview. I love the funnel and kind of the breakdown of all three. And it seems like this individual is critical to company success, and they're going to be tasked with essentially driving revenue through 1-800-Wheelchair and using the ecosystem of partners that you've created to make that happen. I should mention, people that are tuning in live, if you have any questions, you can post them. I do have some that we'll get to at the end of people that submitted. Just in terms of who this individual will be reporting to, are they working directly for you? Who else are they interacting with inside the company, as well as you mentioned kind of the ecosystem of partners, but who are they interacting with inside the company?
Yeah, good question. So they because they're managing the website, they kind of sit like at the center of the whole company in many ways, because everything really, because any change on the site has to go through this person. So they will be working with the sales team. They'll be working with the warehouse to making sure the inventory is in place. They'll report to me and my partner Yiddy. I'm always available. We'll probably have official meetings once or twice a week, but we're always messaging. We're always talking. Sometimes it's once a day. But you sort of sit in the middle. So essentially your direct report is to me and to my partner Yiddy. But you're constantly like sitting in between. You're getting incoming from suppliers. You're getting incoming from the designers. You're getting incoming from people on the team. They want to know if something is in stock and out of stock. or if there's a new product, you have to message the whole team. So you kind of sit at the center of the whole company, and you're getting a lot of incoming, and you're trying to manage these kind of flows. So yeah, does that answer the question? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does.
Okay,
It
yeah,
does
yeah.
completely. And to build on that, I mean, they'll be working closely with yourself and Yiddy, and what is it like? What can they expect working with you guys? And you kind of mentioned the role here. How open are you guys to change? If somebody had some new ideas that they wanted to try, how open are you to new ideas of this individual bringing to the table?
Yeah. So by nature, the company is we are a very entrepreneurial company. We're a 30-person company, and we are very lucky that we're in a really strong success. We're in a very strong growth mode at the moment. So first of all, we're very busy. so I'm looking for people that want to run their own department. I want to have somebody who wants to take charge of the website and increase the traffic, increase the conversion rate, increase the customer experience, increase, better the look and feel of the website. So I'm looking for somebody who is, I'm not a micromanager. I'm not going to sit there and micromanage the person. I'm always there. I'm available. But as long as you have an idea to make the site better and convert better and make the flow of the sale better, and then I'm open for anything. I'm a very positive person. I'm a very fun person. I thrive on excitement, and that's the way I want the people around me to be. So you're kind of running your own ship, and within a system, and so you have to be a self-motivator, and you have to be joyful because we want to help people. We want to grow the website. So any new ideas, we're totally open to that, and it's very easy to work at. Also, we're a company, especially over COVID, became a distributed company in many senses. So I live in New York City. My partner lives in sort of New Jersey. We have a warehouse there, and people are all over the country, and we seem to be hiring some people from Canada as well. So it's a very, very distributed. We don't have an office. We used to have an office in New York City, but we gave it up during COVID, and people seem to enjoy working from home. So we're completely leaning into that kind of company structure. So there's a lot of phone calls, there's video calls, but essentially this person could work from anywhere in the world for all I care. But they have to be motivated, self-motivated, and self-organized, and being able to think on their own, come up with new ideas, and because we're very quick, we make very quick decisions, we're very fast, and we're very entrepreneurial.
Great. I'm glad you mentioned the remote nature. That's a question
Yeah.
that came up, through conversations we had of, what the policy is. So I'm glad, just to reiterate, where it's fully remote, you can work from home, and the team is kind of spread across North America and the world at this point. So
Yeah.
a couple, the last question I have for you before we get onto the candidate one is, what learnings or growth opportunities do you see existing for this individual as they come on?
Right. So first of all, if you're interested in e-commerce and the latest technology, then I think that because you're running the e-commerce website, things are always evolving in e-commerce. I mean, for example, we're just doing a migration from Magento 1 to Magento 2. So you learn all about that. We're also expanding international, so there may be opportunities for us to understand how websites work all over the world with translations and different regulations. So we are in a very strong growth mode. So we're always interested in the latest and best way to sell something online. This is what we're obsessed with, that because this is where our business comes from. So in terms of growth, of like personal growth, of working, if you want to be at the forefront of e-commerce, selling things online, then I think this is the place to be. And also because we're in such a growth mode, and this person will be in charge of all our essentially technology and websites. So as the company grows internationally, there could be opportunities for this person, to grow as well. And I must say, in the last 25 years, this position was, I think, held by 3 people, I think, each of them for one was for 10 years, one was for 2 of them for 6-7 years. So people seem to like the position. The reason why this person is leaving now, because she did a master's in data science, and then I guess wants to move on to data science. But people really love this job. It's a very highly active job. You're always, and it's basically also, it's like a problem solving job because it's a problem every day and we're trying to fix the problem every single day. So in conclusion, the growth is this personal growth in terms of like understanding the being at the latest and greatest of technology of e-commerce. And then within the company itself, because the company itself is becoming more of like from a national to a global company, there's room for growth there as well.
Awesome. That's great. Thanks. And some questions from folks that sent them in ahead of time. What is the marketing budget that this individual would have to play with, and rough estimates, just in case some of your competitors are tuning in?
I hope
what
so.
would it be?
I hope so. Hot competitors.
What would it be, and what can someone expect it to be? Is it growing? Is it going up? Is it going down or staying the same in terms of as you go forward?
So it's constantly evolving. So the way I work the marketing budget, I'd say we spend around $1 million a year on marketing at the moment. But the way I don't think about it that way. I think about like ROI. So I know I basically we understand our margin, and I know how much my cost per acquisition is. So I have around let's say for example, I want to spend 10% of my sales on 10% of a product. My cost per acquisition. I mean, this is like $1 million on only digital marketing we spend. So if somebody wants to, so as long as you meet, as long as you match or meet a certain ROI, we'll invest in anything. We're investing in print advertisement. We may invest in television advertisement. We may invest in catalog business. So there's many different businesses that we're open to invest in as long as the ROI is there. So if you can make a case and say, I think we should get into the catalog business, we will help fund that for you. So there is really no limit as long as you meet the ROI. We're open to do any kind of marketing experiment.
And I think that's where the entrepreneurial mind comes in for this individual, is to think about, you're open to new ideas. You just have to justify it and why it makes sense and in terms of generating more sales and more revenue. So that's kind of your approach.
Absolutely.
Is, hey, the budget is whatever you want to spend as long as you can justify it and it results in business growth is kind of what you're open to.
Absolutely.
And the other question that came in is, can you share a little bit of information on what the current volume is on the website without being too specific?
Yeah. Well, I mean, general like visitors, we have around 10,000 visitors a day on the site. So 10,000 people come to the site every day, and we get around, I think, 500 phone calls, which is not really related to this job, but already 500 people a day call our 1-800-wheelchair line, either telling us that they want to buy a wheelchair, they want to return a wheelchair, they have a problem with the wheelchair or a product. So this is generally, those are the two numbers that I'm comfortable giving out. So it's 10,000 and 500.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then, and you touched on it a little bit, but this individual will be responsible for both 1-800-wheelchair and the Feather Chair website, correct?
Right, but the 1-800-wheelchair website is sort of the big behemoth website. That's sort of the big behemoth. The Feather Chair website only has 5 products. There hasn't been a lot of change recently, and but yes, and one is the 1-800-wheelchair website. We're doing a migration from Magento 1 to Magento 2. Magento is a very complex back-end system, and we're doing the migration as we speak. Feather Chair is just your basic Shopify website. It does get a couple of sales a day, but the majority of the Feather Chair products are sold on 1-800-wheelchair. But we do expect Feather Chair to grow because 1-800-wheelchair is a direct-to-consumer model, and the Feather Chair may be more of a B2B model. And so it may have different requirements as we go along, which another thing that this person has to maybe now understand. 2 kinds of e-commerce. There's e-commerce, direct-to-consumer e-commerce, and there's like B2B e-commerce. So that we may have different challenges. And I mean, it's an exciting place to how do we sell to an end user, and how do we sell to another business? So that's sort of where we're moving, but it's not at the moment, but in the next couple of months we'll be moving in that direction.
Okay, cool. And then there were some questions that came in as we were chatting here about, if we're entertaining individuals that have no experience but want to get into that? And would that be something you would look at for this role down the road? Kind of what's your stance on that?
So to be very honest, I need somebody who I mean, unless they're super smart and super native, I mean, if they've done project managing in other areas and they have a leaning towards technology. I mean, look, the best candidate is somebody who's done e-commerce for 2-3 years somewhere else, ran a website, and has some kind of idea. That's sort of the best situation. That's the best. But if somebody is, if someone's straight out of college and they have no experience at all, I mean, because like I said, we're all really busy, and we want to just throw somebody into the role. Of course, there'll be training involved. The current person is still there for another 2 months, and so we hope to have at least a 1 month overlap between them. So there'll be some training, like at least a month of training. But we need somebody who has who's hungry for e-commerce, like loves selling and understands e-commerce. Somebody who really understands product management, managing outside teams. Somebody who is computers and technology is native to them. They're familiar with it. So this is the kind of person who's extremely well organized and stuff like that is somebody who we're looking for. So if they had a little experience, that's what really ideally. I mean, look, they're not going to know everything, but if you've worked at on a website for a year or two, you'll have an idea of what SEO is and what AdWords is and what content is and what a back end is, what a front end is, what design is, and what an affiliate marketing is, what emails are, like all these basic things that we take for granted. Like there's a machine behind it, and you have to like constantly being able to massage them and optimize them as time goes on.
Okay, that's great. And just as we're wrapping up here, any final thoughts or any parting words you would like to say to people that are watching this live or going to watch the recording afterwards?
Yes, absolutely. You want to work for me? I am so much fun and exciting, and we're going to have a great time. Every day is a joy. We are a rocket ship. We're growing. We're also helping people, sell wheelchairs to them, getting older people to be more mobile. I want to have a joyful place to work. I want you to be happy where you work. I want you to go dancing to work every day. And my job is to find the right person for the right job. So I'm looking for somebody who loves to sell, who loves e-commerce, wants to work from home, wants to travel and work from wherever they want to work for, but they are obsessed with e-commerce and growing an e-commerce business together with me and my team. And if you are, reach out to Mike and we'll do a bunch of interviews and we'll meet, we'll talk, we'll answer any questions. But thank you for this opportunity. And I think that I'm looking forward to our next product manager and website manager.
That was great. Joseph,
Yes.
Thank you so much. Get in touch with candidates, get in touch with myself.
Yes.
As we work through the process, we'll be putting together our shortlist and going through and getting interested people over to Joseph. So thanks for taking this time. It was a blast as always. I'm so shocked you didn't have a coffee during this, but you probably had a few before.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Joseph.
Yes.
We will
We'll talk
see you
soon.
soon. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.